Hello everyone, I am back once again. This time, to do a review on the Toybiz Superposable Spider-Man. This figure, this is the Superposable Spider-Man from the 6-inch line, and the Superposable Spider-Man from the 18-inch lineup from Spider-Man 2. You want to see? There he is. Looks really nice. Now, I don't have the packaging for these two, sadly, and I only have... And as you can see, I custom painted my Spider-Man to look a little bit more accurate with a bit screw-ups on the webbing, but it looks nice. I like the vibrant style, and I like it more than it was originally. So, going over this figure, the Superposable Spider-Man from Spider-Man. The painting and the sculpting on this figure is really good. Now, of course, I already said this is customized, but if you want it, here is a in-hand photo of the Superposable Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2002. Now, I unfortunately do not own this. I own this one. And I think, even though you can't see it well on camera, it looks really nice. Now, what I did with mine is use a chrome paint to basically use an acrylic brush to lightly paint every part of his body, including his hands, his web shooters, if you want to call it, his mask, his eyes, and the rest of the webbing going down to his torso, to his waist, to his leg, to his boots. For the painting, besides my custom paint, I think for what it is, it's actually really good. Of course, I've seen customs of it having more paint than it already has, and it looks really nice. So this one, it looks a bit weak, but at least I'm proud of it. And I'm also very, very happy I got this figure, because this figure is very fun to pose. However, here's the main issue I have with this guy. And this is something I really want, and this is why I want to get the Superposable Spider-Man, the original. The sculpting, oh boy. I kind of don't like this. I don't like how his head feels so small, so is his neck, and then his body feels so small, and then his arms are so long, almost the size of his legs, and the fingers are also bent, which is really terrible. I wish it never had that issue, which come on, I mean, this thing is rare, I guess. And yeah, it's kind of iffy that he had the fingers on mine were a bit bent on this hand, and on this hand they're slightly bent but slightly not. Another reason why I should get the Superposable Spider-Man, the original, the Spider-Man 2 version, is because the proportions are right, in my opinion, and the hand and the fingers are more articulated. But that doesn't mean the articulation for this guy is bad. I think the articulation for this figure is very good for just a very old figure. See, head is on a ball joint. He can look up and down. The problem is his neck is on a spring joint, so he can't really do that much. Same with his arms. So there we go. He also has a bicep swivel right there that swivels all the way around, a double bend at the elbow, and a wrist swivel. Well, there's no wrist swivel, but there is a swivel here that, of course, does this. And a hinge joint at the wrist with whipping hands, which is a lot of fun to pose. Believe me, it is. There's a diaphragm joint here. However, the problem is it doesn't really do much. Again, just like his shoulders and his neck, it is spring-loaded. Head and arms, swivel, swivel. This is the legs, swivel, swivel. No there. It can do a pretty good splits. Swivel here. And as you can see also by the legs, there isn't any some sort of ball joint here, and his waist is like on the same size. It's actually like this, which is fine, but it just kind of annoys me. Double bend at the elbow, well, double bend at the knee, with a swivel here. I think you can remove, and a swivel and a pivot, which has a toe bend, which is kind of hard to pose with the pivot. Posability on this figure is very well done, very articulated for just a very old figure. However, I am pretty glad that Toybiz decided to upgrade this thing into the Spider-Man 2 version, which I'm legitimately am jealous for. Now, moving on to the big figure, which is giant. Okay, oh boy, how am I supposed to do this? Alright, I'll try to hold my iPad and make sure it doesn't fall, but the painting and the sculpting on this one is insanely good. Now, granted, if you had this in your childhood, you are a lucky person. I only got this since, I think, July or August. As you can see, there are some proportions that are a bit off, like going into his mask. His eyes are smaller and they're a little bit more spread out. Of course, the web line. However, the web line here is actually done very well, even down to his fingers, which is really, really nice. The spider symbol is big, and it just looks so nice and bright. Not bright, it looks really nice. It just carries out also to the butterfly joints, if you can see, like that. It goes to even the butterfly joints. There is a little bit of paint chipping, as you can see, but hey, at least it isn't that bad. And the spider symbol at the back, beautiful. And as you can see, this is the one problem I have with this figure. His neck is his head is super loose. Pain. Going down to his legs, which feels like an upscaled version. Yeah, as you can see here, it is extremely, you can even see the texture going into the what I would probably be the bluer portions of his suit. And it even has a nice texture to it, which looks really nice. And even his feet look really nice. It's just when you fold them, it looks kind of eh. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Now, moving on to the articulation for this figure. Oh man, this thing is gonna get a really, really long review. There's a ball joint at the head with an up and down motion, but that is in thanks to this ball jointed neck. So he can swivel all the way around. Arms are on a ratchet joint. And a butterfly joint, which is really, really nice. And as you can see, the web line is still there. He also has an in and out proportion. So you know what, maybe I should lie down this figure. Why not? He has an right there. His arm goes in and out. Hopefully he doesn't break. Bicep swivel with a this is another problem I have with the figure. Ratchet jointed elbows. Hearing that, it makes me super unsatisfied. It makes me so uncomfortable. Wrist swivel as well, with a hinge into it, and double and individual finger articulation. Now this I like. This I prefer over the ones we see from Hasbro, where they have to just change the hands like a traditional Legends. Moving down to his waist, he has an ab crunch diaphragm. However, I don't know if it works. But with this, it works, and even with the other articulation here, there's a waist swivel. So much. And then, going back to uncomfortable territory, his legs are extremely tight. As you've heard, And they make me extremely worried when handling the thing. And even a beautiful spread. Yeah. Thigh swivel too, with a double bend at the knee, with a swivel here at the calf, with a hinge joint at the feet, with a ratchet joint here for his feet, and a double toed and double articulation for the toes, which is insane. Posability here, also really, really, really good. But unfortunately, I have to take some points back considering his legs are ratcheted and his arms are ratcheted. And they're tight also, which makes me extremely scared when posing this thing. Moving down to the accessories for the both of them. Now, this Spider-Man doesn't really come with much. He doesn't come with alternate hands. This was before Hasbro decided to give them alternate hands. Like, for example, for the Spider-Man figures, they usually come with a web shooting hands or fist hands. Maybe sometimes an open wall crawling hands. But this figure, he has a base. Which, if there's a hole here to put a pin through, so you can put it on the wall, which I don't want to do. But if you want to, you can add this piece. And if you don't want this, then and you want to just put it in the hole, you can simply slide this out, excuse me, and it looks much fresher. There's also a gap here, but watch. That makes me scared in so many ways, and even putting it with the Spider-Man figure. And the Spider-Man 2 accessories. Now, I don't know if he comes with a lot, but he does come with a web shooter, which simply attaches to his arm like so. Like, hopefully this is the right way. Either like this, if you want to, or this, which, if you want to, he has 3 types of web shooters. This. Yeah, it shoots high, really fast. Here's this one. Okay, that almost hit me. And then there's this one, which looks kind of generic and needs way more space. Look at that, I catched it. Yeah, you want to see it. Here's how it works. So you put this here, and then, yeah, I catched him. So cool me. Anyways, time for the size comparisons, which hopefully I can find a ruler. Spider-Man, the superposable Spider-Man, the 6-inch version from Spider-Man 2002, it stands at a rough, oh boy, stands at a rough 6, maybe half of 5'9", maybe 5'9" inches. Whereas this thing stands bigger than that. He's past 12 inches, so he's roughly maybe around 18 inches. So here is the superposable Spider-Man compared to 2 Spider-Man characters from, and maybe even 3, one, I might not spoil because it's one of my favorite moment from Spider-Man. Here he is compared to the MCU version of the Vulture. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be accurate, but considering this, I'm not sure. Here he is compared to the Marvel Legends 2018 Venom. Curious to see if Venom will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home, which I highly, highly doubt that. But if he does, how will he interact with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? How? Like, will Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man go enraged, or will Venom be enraged? Probably Venom, because he's blind and who he can eat. And as for this big Spider-Man figure, I'll be right back. here he is compared to the Playmates Mega Godzilla, who is 13 inches tall. And yet this thing is giant. So this thing is bigger. Also this. Best Playmates toy. So anyways, buy now, skip, or just skip entirely, considering these things are extremely old. Now, if you want my individual reviews, I think this one out of the way is like an 8.5 or an 8. It's a very, very good figure. It's just that the proportions seem a bit wrong, and it's just the proportions that kill me. And the bent fingers I don't like that. It just looks so bad. However, if you really want a but this thing I've actually seen a lot of times, and it also got another release that's similar Spider-Man 2002 line, where it's all battle damaged and it's all destroyed by the Green Goblin. Now, I don't own that one. I don't know if I want to get it, but if I do, I will probably review it. But in the meantime, this will do. I think it's a very good Spider-Man, even without even the custom paint. It's still a pretty good Spider-Man figure. It kind of poses better than most other things. It's just when I also find it slightly underrated, slightly overrated for me. I don't know. I just think it's a very good Spider-Man figure. As for this thing, I think it's good. Very good. However, oh man, the ratchet joints I hate that. Every joint is a ratchet, but it's super tight to the point it actually kind of worries me. I hate the fact that his ratchets on his arms, his double jointed elbows are tight. I don't like the fact that his legs are tight. And I also don't like the fact that his hips, that maybe even his knees or even more his fingers, to say the least, don't even want to, just are about to break. Like, come on, look at the things. However, with this new articulation, you can get some pretty good poses, so there's a thumbs up. So he's, again, an 8.5 to an 8. So, do I highly recommend these figures? Yeah, I guess. If you want just one Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, yeah, I would say so. But for me personally, I kind of wish I actually have the superposable Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2, considering that figure I heard was really good. And looking at videos, it looks amazing. Hasbro, please do a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It's been a while. But anyways, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Photo gallery will come up soon. And I will not put links for these figures, considering if you want to buy them, you have to go through, like, eBay or anything like that. But anyways, I'll see you guys later on the next review, teasing soon. Bye-bye.